Hello, my name is Graham Arader. I'm an art dealer here in New York City. I live and work at 1016 Madison Avenue, which is the only pristine Beaux-Arts mansion left on Madison Avenue, interestingly enough. I love living here because everything really is pretty much the way it looked when this house was built in 1900. So I invite you down to come see the amazing display of natural history watercolors that I have here. For the last 42 years, I've been the largest dealer in the published works of the great natural history artists of the last 500 years. This is how the word of Linnaeus and other great classifiers was spread to communities, to colleges, to cities, to popes, to bishops, to cardinals, to kings, to princes, to military men, to explorers all over the world for the last 500 years. It's the published work that gave these people an indication of the new discoveries that were being made. It's how the spread and the love for the natural world was created by these published books. The woodcuts, engravings, aquatints, lithographs, chromolithographs over this 500-year period is how the information was spread through their publication. Recently, I made a $30 million gift of this type of artwork to the University of South Carolina. I've also established wonderful teaching programs where this artwork is being used at the University of Florida, the University of Tennessee, Northeastern University, Prescott College, Marymount College, Franklin College, and with great pleasure, I've also had a wonderful working relationship with the curator, Linda Miller, at the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History. So basically, my vision is to teach and have college students in the age group between 17 and 18 years old learn about art history, Linnaean classification, environmental science, by looking at these amazing works of art in the classroom or in the school's art museum. It's been a very successful program. People love it. The kids are excited by it. The professors are getting involved with it. Probably right now, the most successful program is at the University of Florida. What I've been holding back for 40 years, of course, are the original watercolors that were used to make these wonderful published works. This collection comprises 7,000 original works of art that are the templates for all these wonderful publications that spread the word of our incredibly diverse natural world that exists to the delight of all of us. These watercolors would, in the right institution, make that institution the center for learning and for understanding the natural world. I'm looking for an institution that will care for these, that will use these for research, and have the understanding that students from all over the world are going to want to see this collection that is absolutely the finest collection of natural history watercolors in the world. Some of these works, we don't know the artist. This happens to be Indian School. They're extraordinary quality. They come from the collection of Joseph Verner Reed, who was one of the founders of the Jupiter Island Club. They're magnificent. Here's a wonderful work by the Italian artist. His name was Ferrari. He did these watercolors of lemon. These were published and very, very successful watercolors. Here are watercolors by Adrian Montigny, done to show the estate of the Croix family in the late 16th century. These were done in 1596, and it shows the tulips that this man's grandmother brought to Europe from Turkey in the middle of the 16th century. They're extraordinary quality. Any collection in the world would be thrilled to own these true Renaissance masterpieces. Here are works by Barbara Regina Dietsch, who is probably one of the great German natural history artists of the 17th century. Her works are in tremendous demand. This wonderful dark background is very alluring, very attractive, very exciting. So here is the most famous botanical artist of all time, Pierre-Joseph Redoute, who had a remarkable career. He started off working for Marie Antoinette, who was the queen to Louis XVI. His primary patron was the Empress Josephine. She was the wife of Napoleon up until he divorced her in 1810, and during that time, and even after it, she spent vast sums of money so that he could create his masterpiece work, the Liliaceae. These are the original watercolors that he painted for her so that engravers could copy his watercolors and make beautiful engravings from them for this amazing book. That, to me, is the greatest flower book that ever was. In this collection that we're offering, there are over 100 Redoute watercolors on vellum. Instantly, it would make the institution that bought these the #1 repository for the works of Redoute in the world. Here is a watercolor that was done for Napoleon. This was done by Jacques Barabon of a toucan. It is, again, was used to make an engraving for the work on toucans published by Le Vaillant. This is a masterpiece. This is also another Barabon watercolor showing a beak. Above is probably the best bird artist in Europe in the 19th century. His only serious competitor would have been John James Audubon. This is a Joseph Wolfe that was published in John Gould's book for his Birds of Asia, and it is a masterpiece. This is an Indian Calcutta school Indian done by an Indian artist of a pheasant. The pheasants, of course, are native to India, to Asia. Again, this is the Lucknow school. These Asian original watercolors are extremely difficult to find. They take a great deal of effort to be able to find them. This collection has one of the largest collections in the world of Asian watercolors. Probably we have over 1,000 original Asian watercolors. Here is a masterpiece by Maria Sibylla Merian. She was the first great woman artist of flowers. This is one of her very, very finest works. This is Lucknow school. This is Indian. This is another Indian watercolor, extraordinary quality. Here is an Alexander Ryder watercolor of the condor. This is one of the great American watercolors that we have in our collection and would be a spectacular addition to any institution that wanted things by American artists. On this wall probably is the finest display of the work of Jacques Lemoyne that anyone will ever see. These are watercolors that he drew for Philip Sidney or possibly Mary Queen of Scots. They are the finest 16th century watercolors of flowers in the world. They have incredibly bright, original color. It is an opportunity to see how botanical artists lived and worked in the 16th century. It is extraordinary quality. There is no other collection like this in the world. Here's an opportunity to see the original works of art by America's first artist. On this wall, on the walls that you're seeing around this house, are masterpieces going back to 1563, 1564, right up to the present time by the people who are acknowledged in all the reference books to have been the masters of illustrating all the living things that exist in the world. Most of these artists were inspired, certainly after 1735, by Carlos Linnaeus, who ordered these things for the world to understand and to appreciate and to preserve. These are works by Edouard Travier, who's called the French Audubon. He was a master of drawing birds around the same time as Audubon, maybe 20 years later, in the middle of the 19th century. All of these were used to make lithographs from these original watercolors. These, however, are the true templates, the true original works of art that were used to make the published works. This collection of great original watercolors, of which there are 7,000 in the complete body of work that's being offered for sale, would give a teaching institution the opportunity to bring in professors of art, art history, Linnaean classification, Linnaean nomenclature, environmental science, technology, business, biology. Almost every discipline that you can think of would have some interest in these original natural history watercolors spanning the last 500 years of this attempt by man to understand the world that he lives in.